Hello everyone, welcome to my digital presentation featuring Screencast-o-Matic. Screencast-o-Matic is an online program that allows users to digitally record their screens to create videos and presentations. Today this video features a PowerPoint presentation on an instructional strategy called carousel brainstorming. What is carousel brainstorming? Marcia Tate, a leading teacher in the field, described carousel brainstorming as a highly favorable strategy to incorporate learning within the classroom. It's a strategy that involves group learning and is a rotational learning exercise to build on prior knowledge. The purpose of it is really quite simple. It explores various perspectives on a certain topic, creating conversations from the questions asked, thereby tapping into prior knowledge of the subject. By activating this prior knowledge, it builds a new background knowledge, creating relevancy to the new information being learned. Why use this? This is a great strategy to use for students to learn cooperative learning. It's less intimidating and the students get to know one another and thereby creating deeper thinking and increasing scaffolding of the learning information. It's a great review process for a class that has just learned new information. It is said this one strategy alone incorporates background knowledge, active learning, metacognition, writing, discussion, and organizing. The educator's role. It's really quite simple to set up this strategy. All you need is poster paper and markers. The tricky part is to create the questions on each poster paper that will invoke critical thinking of the topic. The setup for the classroom is really quite easy. You post the poster papers around the room. Students will be divided into groups. 3 to 5 students per group is recommended. It is a timed group rotation, and there is a ended group discussion that is facilitated by the instructor. The learner's role. Each group has 3 key roles: the mediator, the writer, and the speaker. The mediator allows all students within the group their own voice and makes sure that each gets heard. The writer writes down all ideas below the question on the poster paper, and the speaker will be involved in the group discussion at the end. At each station, the students will write their answers to the critical questions that the instructor has thought of. There's an allotted time for each station. Usually 3 to 5 minutes is a good time. Of course, towards the end of the rotation, you will have to allow your students more time, as the answers must come from a more intellectual reasoning. When all students groups have rotated through all the questions, the poster paper chart papers are relocated to the front of the class. The instructor will then lead a discussion for each question. This is when the speaker comes up from each group and explains their reasoning for their answers. This process is used for all the questions to be discussed. This is a sample layout of a classroom that has 4 stations, 4 questions posted around the room for students to rotate. This is a fantastic instructional strategy. There's very good reasons for using this. It's good at producing a huge number of responses from questions from the learners. It provides a good base structure to enable for future learning. This is the scaffolding we were talking about earlier, building upon prior knowledge. And it really helps the learners stay motivated because everyone's in the same boat, everyone speaks up, nobody's left out. It's really an effective way of getting prior knowledge and review process of the students. It allows for subject matter to be covered really quite quickly, and as I've said before, it's a really great review process. Now, there are some things that don't work. For those instructors that have students that refuse to participate, of course, they're going to drag their group down. And another disadvantage is that these students must have some form of background knowledge of the topic at hand. There are problems. If there's gender or cultural issues related to the topic, it could bring up hard feelings and issues that are not debatable, that type of thing. If the class is too large to implement, obviously this strategy cannot be used for, say, a first-year psychology class where there's 300 students per class. It's just not going to work that way. Also, for students who have mobility problems, if you're in a small classroom, they won't be able to get around carousel, as you would say. They move around the classroom. You have to have a classroom large enough for those who have mobility issues. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this strategy. I appreciate any and all type of feedback. Would be great. I hope you've learned a lot and have a great